Welcome to another episode of SEO Bros because it's bros before SEOs. And
That's
today
true.
I'm Ben, this is Yaron. And hey Yaron, how you doing?
Hey Ben, I'm doing well. How are you?
Thank God. Today we're going to talk about the massive leak that Google just had, that we haven't had a leak like that in over a decade, maybe more. And we're
hmm
going to go over it, some of the things that were uncovered, and what actionable takeaways you should take away from the leak.
hmm I haven't seen the leak yet. I haven't looked at it yet. I've heard about it. I haven't read through it yet. How is it like? Was it a massive leak? It's the one that happened
Yeah.
like a week or something ago, right?
Yeah, it's a massive
Okay,
leak.
let's go. Do you have like an article that like
Yeah, I'm gonna share
outlines
my
the big
screen.
changes? All right, interesting.
Okay, check it out. Okay, so Rand and Mike, both Mike King, both shared on it.
hmm
Essentially, it was this anonymous guy who reached out who got a bunch of, it seems like it wasn't hacking. It was like an incidental, they accidentally published a bunch of documents on GitHub and then it got archived
hmm
and people got access to it. So,
So it like was really leaked from the Google team, someone on the Google team by mistake.
yeah, this is
Interesting.
not the right. There you go. Yeah, and it was Rand asked a few Google employees if it looks legit, and they all said it looks legit.
Hmm,
So, a couple of
interesting.
things about it. Let's start in the beginning. Okay, here's Rand with the anonymous source who later came out. Um, Going through all of these documents, there was a lot of documents. There's the guy,
Mm,
Irfan Azimi, who's an SEO practitioner.
hmm
2,500 pages of
Oh
API
wow.
documentation with 14,000 attributes, lots of things. All of it was active, like it was actual code that Google was
hmm
using. We know a lot. We know about the variables they were using. We don't know how important they are.
hmm
So we can't really tell, okay, which ones are important, which ones aren't.
Like which ones are more impactful?
Yeah.
Okay. hmm
The
So we
first
know
thing,
what they're looking at, but we don't know how much weight it has.
that's right.
Okay. Okay, I'm
Great way
with
to
you.
summarize it. So the first shocking thing they discovered that we all knew that Google collects click data.
hmm
They know how users interact with a website. After they click on it, they know how long they stay, all kinds of things.
That's not a shock. I mean, it's Google
So,
Analytics kind of shows you that as well, so I'm not shocked that they collect it.
but they've denied it for years.
Ah, they have. Okay. I didn't know they've denied it for years. Okay.
Years. They were saying that they called Rand's posts like a bunch of crap. Here, generally made up crap. So
hmm
they've been denying it for years. So it's been I think it's nice for Rand to get
hmm
vindicated for it, but a lot they there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff here for on dwell time and the user experience. So
CTR
there,
dwell time.
well, can we trust it? Yeah, skip that section. Why he wrote the post because he's done so much on it.
hmm
Um, okay, where does he start talking about the clicks? Uh, Here, right. So they have things called short clicks, long clicks. Um, what does that mean,
hmm
right? Definitely shows that people
hmm
that dwell on the website, they get that data. And that's what part of the things they use for the user experience. So when Google talks about user experience, it's not just like fluffy language,
hmm
or it's not like um, employees sitting and ranking websites manually based on their
No, of
design
course
or
not.
usability, but it's actual data. So
Makes sense.
all the things that SEO has been saying for years. Like if people click on your
Yeah.
site and then leave, that counts.
Bounce rate counts, of course. I mean, in my eyes, it does. Everything in SEO is sort of guesswork because if they laid out how to do it, then everybody would know how to do it.
Right.
Uh, there's like, you try and then you see if it works. There's some guidelines that everybody agrees on. But there's always, some of these debates on how to do specific things, smaller things. I think that the bigger picture is always the same and agreed upon. Um, Maybe
Yeah,
not the impact of said certain things.
so this we already knew, yeah? We felt it
Mm-hmm.
intuitively in our gut.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Second, Google's actually used Chrome browser, and that's part of the reason they developed it. Kind of a side note, but they have here it says the full clickstream of billions of internet users with Chrome,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they developed it. Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's the most popular browser out there.
It is. I'm not sure it's
And
the best, but it's the most popular.
yeah,
I mean, I use it, and I was actually in the last couple of weeks, so I was thinking about moving to another one, but I'm not sure yet. Not sure I want to leave home.
right. And then they have also a side note, they had white lists for categories like travel, COVID, and politics to prevent spam from ranking on top.
So it's like what you call it. Like they have some websites have a monopoly, basically.
Yeah,
Whatever
yep,
they create will rank because they're whitelisted.
yep,
Doesn't matter
exactly.
if it's good or bad. Interesting. Okay.
It's a verified source, right? According to Google. So
Hmm.
it's legit.
I
Um,
mean, I'm not surprised. I am, but I'm not. It is. I mean, I didn't know it was whitelist. I knew that strong websites could publish anything and it would work, right? It doesn't matter if it's optimized, not optimized. They don't need to do the grunt work in essence. They can do whatever they want and they will still get the rankings. I mean, that we knew. I didn't know that it was an actual like whitelisting process that made it
yeah,
this way. Interesting. I always gave it more of like a topical authority, and like EAT reasoning behind it. Like if they're a known brand and they're trustworthy and a lot of people know them, a lot of people trust them. But it's an
right.
actual whitelist. That's interesting. That's super crazy.
Yeah. It's also, there's a whole section here about domain authority, right?
Mm,
I guess not. I think it's in this article where they talk about domain authority. Yeah.
mm-hmm,
And so Google's denied, Google said multiple times, we don't have anything like domain authority. They don't rank the strength of the domain.
mm.
And they have,
I feel like everybody knew this was a lie.
right.
And any SEO knows this is a lie.
Yeah.
There's
And
no way there's no domain authority.
we've learned that they have it. So
Does the does do the leaks explain how the domain authority works and what not how it works, but what they look at for domain authority?
good question.
Like I'm curious if that's part of the leak. If you guys watching this know, leave a comment down below. I'm curious.
Yeah.
I wish I had more time to go through this, but Allah has been busy, 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 busy.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm curious to see. I mean, I know we don't know the weight of items, but if we know what the items are, you can already start, testing out stuff.
Yeah. I mean, he has a good conclusion section in here for people that, I mean, I read all of this, but it's a lot to take in. And he also said, like, he's just presenting some of the things he found. There's over 2,000 pages. There's a lot to look through,
Mm-hmm.
but it looks like
Interesting.
brand matters more than anything else. Like, it looks like they have all kinds of entities. Like Google has like author entities and different things that we all knew about or thought of that,
Hmm.
existed.
I mean,
And
we knew that we being SEOs, a lot of our clients don't really think it's necessary, don't see the value in it. At least for in my experience, it was always been you had to convince people of it and why you want to do it and why it matters. But it's good to see that maybe this leak would help you, verify it and make that process easier, maybe.
yeah, and with the click data, we know that anybody who engages with the website stays there longer, that page could go up in ranking. So if you can share your content pages to directly to the audiences that care about it, whether it's on social, on your newsletter, online
But
communities, and
it's not
people
only
engage with
that,
it more,
it's also the user experience, right? A lot of the things that we do, like every client of ours, right? I'm talking from experience. Every client of ours gets what we call a blog design audit, right? Is your content that you're writing, is the blog designed properly to engage with people, to make people stay, right? One of
right?
the things we look at, for example, is the feature image, right? The big image at the beginning. Is it obscuring the beginning of the text? Because if the person doesn't see text, he might bounce out. You want the person to readily see the text. Is the reading experience good? Is the text easy to see? Is it easy to read? Are links popping out? Is everything clear? I'm colorblind. Okay. For me to see links on some websites is horrible.
Right.
If the contrast is not there, I can't read an article. I bounce if the user experience is bad. Is the table of content good? Is the intent correct, right? Is the article answering my search intent, right? A
Right.
lot of times, going back to what we spoke about earlier, these big websites, these whitelisted websites, you can say, they could write about anything and their website would rank on top, but it wasn't what I was looking for. Right? Search intent matters. Uh, which the big websites we when we do our research for like a topic, we tend to ignore these very very big strong websites because we know they're not reliable. They're not a source for ranking. They're ranking there mostly because they're big.
Right. That's smart.
So it's a lot of stuff that's interesting to see that it's nice to see that we've been doing the like
That's
good
right.
work. We've been looking at
Very
the correct
validating.
things. Yeah, it's very validating. It's very interesting to see.
The other point is apparently EAT, experience, expertise, the whole thing is not as doesn't impact it as direct as we think. So it's not,
That's a shocker to me.
yeah, like Google can identify authors and treat them as entities, but what EAT is, what are the variables? We don't know. And Rand is saying that he thinks most of it's like propaganda. Most of it is like fluffy, whatever. It's not, and you could see it where you could, like, if you look at, let's say I look up best air purifiers. So I'm going to get a ton of articles from giant
But
newspapers.
you're looking at a very specific type of keyword here.
Yeah.
You're looking for a listicle.
Yeah.
This is not I wouldn't but there okay, so a few things about the SERP that we're looking at. First, whitelisted websites. I'm going to call them from now on that way. The giant websites are here. Obviously, they're here.
Yeah.
A very high intent keyword drives a lot of business. Uh, Second, best best whatever. Those are usually big websites or they're affiliate websites. So usually EEAT is not there. And affiliate websites, they push with backlinks, they push in other directions. So I wouldn't consider this to be a good example for EEAT. I would go more like in the informational routes in that direction to look at EEAT. medical, financial. I wouldn't look at something that has a lot of buy intent in it,
Yeah.
because then that SERP is bombarded in all types of SEO strategies. These are very difficult to rank on. But let's see. Let's see. Prove me wrong, please.
Well, I was just reading an article where these, like you said, giant affiliate websites are just taking over any kind of whenever people look for the best of anything or actual
Mhm.
product recommendations. They're taking over and they claim that they have tried the products themselves, they've tested them, they have a lab, they don't have any of this.
They
So
don't.
bad example of ET, or maybe ET doesn't work. Don't know.
So I think we can probably find some examples where it does work. I don't think that the way Google ranks these is proper. I think there's a lot of people who actually do the tests and
Yeah,
have these blogs that are very niche and very specific to what they're talking about, that they test all the products to do everything. These should be ranking up top because they actually do the work.
yeah,
In some cases, I know some niches it does happen, and you do need to have that real person behind the story, right? Um, but again, as you see, it gets muddied by these giant websites, which is a shame. It's basically a monopoly,
yeah.
which
So
is
one of his recommendations is like SEO may not work for smaller to medium businesses. You need to establish credibility and demand and strong reputation. That's interesting.
it's very interesting. Um, yeah, but
SEO is not for the small
how
guy.
usually if your website is young and you don't make a lot of money, SEO is not for you. SEO requires investment.
Right.
It costs a lot of money. It's a lot of work. Um, it's not cheap, and if you do it cheap, it's probably not good. Um, so yeah, I agree. Go with PPC. Find a good PPC person. Find a good ads person. Yeah, go that way. Most better luck there until your brand grows. One of the things that we supplement our services with is digital PR. We go,
Yeah.
we work with surveys, we create content that is not your typical keyword based content trying to find the person. No, we sit with our client, we get experts on the line. We create actual content and we publish it on newspapers, like online newspapers obviously, but
Yeah.
that's one way to grow your brand.
It's
That
huge.
repurposing your SEO content. How do you grow a brand without having a good blog? Right? That's also part of it. So there's I'm not 100% agreeing with the fact that brand is everything, that pure brand is everything, if you get what I mean. You need SEO for brand as well. Like you can't say you don't need SEO, it's all brand. Because SEO is a driver of brand. It's brand visibility, it's how often you're seen, it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe I'm talking more content marketing rather than SEO. It could be that I'm diluting the line a bit because I'm more on the side of the content marketing aspects when it comes to search
Yeah.
engine optimization. So
I
I
mean,
come from there. That's my field
yeah, I mean, I think he's just saying promote your content to other channels through other
as
channels.
well. Yeah, repurpose your content always. Repurpose social media, everything, whatever you can use your resources. But it all, in my opinion, it all starts with a very good detailed blog, and from there you can shift it and mold it to other purposes.
For sure. Amazing. So what are our key takeaways from this leak?
So far, I'd love to see what else. I'd love to read it more. Do you know, maybe somebody can tell us in the comments below, like, is there a good summary, like bullet point summary of all the metrics that they found there? Just, a list.
Yeah, I don't know if it exists yet. I'm sure someone will create it eventually.
I mean, can't you just feed it to AI and tell it to list out all the metrics?
I guess so, yeah. But it's just a lot of code. We could try.
Interesting. Is the leak
Sure.
like the entire leak downloadable?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So somebody get onto it.
Let's go.
Work on it.
So our takeaways are clicks are super important, the user experience on your actual website, and use
Hmm.
and Google measures it.
Bounce rate. Yeah.
Bounce rate, dwell time, all of that, visit duration. Um, so the design is more important than we thought,
Hmm.
obviously.
Well, we're assuming, yeah, we don't,
Yeah,
they could be taking everything here into account, but it could be insignificant,
right.
right? And in some cases, I guess it is because they're still whitelisting big websites. So I think one major takeaway from here is if you see a SERP filled with giants, don't try and challenge it. They're
Right.
whitelisted there. Unless you're a giant, obviously, unless the intent is so high and you're willing to spend so much to get
Yeah.
that keyword, that ranking, leave it. There's so many creative ways to reach your target audiences. Think about your target audiences, right? A lot of times when we get new clients, we come up with target audiences they didn't even think about or approaching them differently,
100%.
especially
Eh,
if building your brand is so important now, according to the leak.
Yeah. And two, you got to promote your content on other channels
You
because
gotta,
as soon as you're an engaged user clicks on your site, on your page, then that's a positive signal for Google. So you got to get the right people to read it
yeah,
on top of making sure it ranks.
definitely. One thing that I'm left confused, and maybe you can clarify it for me. The article or what was his name?
Rand?
Um, who?
Rand
Not you.
Fishkin.
Yeah, Rand. Is he said that Google recognizes authors as entities, but EEAT doesn't matter. A big part of EEAT is who wrote the content, who reviewed the content. I think those are the two major uh, pillars. These are two major pillars of EET. I can understand not having a editorial guideline, not having medical review process page, your about us pages, but having a proper person who's an expert on the topic, right? Have quotes on it, medically review it, an actual, or I'm saying medically review because we work so much in the medical field, but an expert review, uh, have an expert review it. I mean, those are the cornerstones of EEAT. How can you say that EAT doesn't matter, but Google does look at writer entities as entities? Like that's a part that I'm not completely clear about. That's very confusing to me.
I think he's saying that the rest of it is fluff. Who
So
wrote
you
it?
just so the writers are important, but the rest of it is not that important. But
That's
the
what
rest
he's
of it
saying,
is
yeah.
so simple to implement.
True.
Like it's okay that it's fluff. It's that's the major part, at least in content creation. Those like getting the right writer and getting a medical reviewer who you can trust, who has a good online presence. Those are the tough ones to do, and get that to work. That's a whole process.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the hard part of EAT. So calling the rest fluff is the rest is easy to do. So might as well do it, even if it's not listed in the leak.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to look into it more.
I'm interested to
Amazing.
understand that aspect very much better.
Cool. So that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for
Awesome.
joining us.
Thank you
And any
guys.
questions y'all have, put them in there. We're going to
Hmm.
answer them in the next episodes as we continue learning and growing. Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you, Ben.
See you
See
later.
you in the next one.